Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy Manny Brown back again with your MLB recap for Monday, May 15th, 2023. Happy Mother's Day, by the way, to all the moms out there. As always, thank you for supporting Dead End Sports. Make sure before we get into it, you like and subscribe to all things Dead End Sports. Well, this was a big weekend for some MLB divisional matchups and rivalries. We'll start with the Dodgers and the Padres. And, the Padres just can't beat the Dodgers in the regular season, man. It's so crazy. They've played 6 times so far. The Dodgers have won 5 games. And while they've been good matchups and good games, the Padres just can't seem to get over the hump, man. And the Dodgers are still proving that they are the team to beat in the NL West. They've outscored the Padres 21-12. Now the Padres bats, they got a similar issue to kind of what the Mets are going through, where their offense has just been struggling. The Padres hitters have not gotten off to a great start. I think Machado, Soto, Cronenworth, they're all struggling. I think the only hitter on the Padres lineup that's really doing anything of substance is Fernando Tatis. I'm not too concerned about the Padres. I think that they'll eventually, their offense will figure it out. They're in a winnable, they're in a good division where they're going to feast off the Rockies. I think the Diamondbacks are eventually going to come back down to earth. So I do think at the end of the day, it'll be the Dodgers and the Padres coming out of that division. But, I think this is an interesting thing because, going into the season, there was a lot of talk about, are the Dodgers still the Dodgers? Are the Dodgers still the team to beat in that division? The Padres that had, obviously they won, that big series in the division series in the postseason last year. And there was a lot of momentum around the Padres. And then they go out and sign, Xander Bogaerts, and they have a very good offseason, to kind of edify the team. And there's a lot of hype and a lot of hoopla surrounding the Padres. And the Dodgers kind of had an interesting offseason, an offseason of maybe restructuring. They let Trey Turner go. They weren't really active in free agency. They kind of made some quiet, small moves under the radar. And there was a lot of people, including myself, what does this Dodger team look like? They didn't re-sign Trey Turner. They got the injury to Gavin Lux in spring training. So there was a lot of question marks about the Dodgers and whether or not, we still thought the Dodgers would be good, but, maybe 100 plus wins good that they've been the last few years. We probably didn't think that, but at least early on, at least through at least through Mother's Day, the Dodgers are showing that they're still that team to beat in the NL West until, proven otherwise. And the Padres just can't beat them in the regular season. And I think the Padres have to win these games. These are important games because you can't necessarily bank on necessarily that you're gonna win, the division series, or you're gonna get back to that point where you have a chance to face the Dodgers in the postseason. I know the expanded playoffs has given teams, a little bit of that fresh air of to think, well, hey, we just get in and but I think I think the Padres psychologically have to start winning some of these games against the Dodgers. They're very important. But yeah, this kudos to the Dodgers, man. Kudos to the job Dave Roberts is doing. Their lineup is not as devastating as it once was. The top 5 or 6 is still pretty good, but after that is a steep decline. They're not as good, but they've got a lot of good productions from a lot of different players. David Peralta's, giving them something. Jason Hayward's giving them something. The kid Outman, is probably the favorite for Rookie of the Year so far. So they've gotten some production from the lineup. But I think over the course of the season, I don't think it's a lineup that necessarily scares you. So for the Dodgers to be in the position that they're in, give them credit. Now the Dodgers, as always, it's going to come down to what they do in the postseason. Everything that happens right now for the Dodgers, it's important and it's significant, but their season in a lot of ways really starts on October 1st when the postseason starts. Can the Dodgers get over the hump? Can the Dodgers win another championship? The Dodgers, for all their dominance, for all their greatness over the last decade plus, one World Series title, and it was in a shortened season. It was the COVID season. Now, I'm not saying that title's invalidated, but you want to see a little bit more return on investment for the Dodgers, for a team that spent, $200+ million year in and year out and have been in the postseason and have won that division every year for the last decade. You kind of want to see a little bit more return in that investment. So, but at least through Mother's Day, the Dodgers are showing that they're still the team to beat in the NL West. Now let's move to another divisional matchup that had some spicy things going on. The Rays and the Yankees. Now the Rays and the Yankees, when they match up, it's always a good time. It's always a good series. And they had a wild series this past weekend, a 4-game series, wild games left and right. The Yankees came back to beat them, 9-8 one of the games. Yesterday they had a wild game where it was 8-7. Aaron Judge almost hits the game's tying home run in the bottom of the ninth. But the Rays eke out a split of the 4-game series, and then the Rays have won 4 games in a 7-game series so far. And the other thing that you got to remember with these big divisional matchups this year, the MLB is playing a balanced schedule, like I said last week. So all 30 teams are going to play each other, which means that these divisional matchups, I think, take even more importance as you go through the season. In the past, the Dodgers and the Padres, the Rays and the Yankees would play, 19 times. This year, I think they only play 13 times. So, through 7 games, the Rays have a 4-3 advantage. Through 6 games, the Dodgers have a 5-game advantage already as far as wins. So I think that's very important if you're these teams to kind of win these divisional matchups, because these are important. You're not going to get 19 opportunities to play these teams. You got 13 games against your division rivals. So I think it makes, which I love the balanced schedule, because I think it puts even more importance on playing, if you're the Mets playing the Braves, if you're the Yankees playing the Red Sox, the Rays, the Jays, the Orioles, and so on and so forth. So I think it's very important, but I think it was a wild series. It was an entertaining series, and the Rays just keep chugging along, man. They just keep winning games. Like, they just keep finding a way to just be a dominant team. I think they're now 30-11 now, clearly the best record in Major League Baseball. I have my question marks about the Rays when it comes to the postseason, but right now I think they are the class of MLB right now. They're just doing it in so many ways. And I think the biggest difference with this Rays team as opposed to years prior is that they've got a lethal offense. In years prior, you always kind of wondered about the Rays and their offense. Do they have the hitters? But, with a Rosarina, with Wander Franco, Yandy Diaz is giving them a production. I mean, they just mix and match all throughout the lineup. They've got a deep, lengthy lineup. I mean, I think the Rays are, at least through 162, probably the best team in Major League Baseball right now. Obviously that could change as the summer goes in full swing. But, right now you got to give kudos to the Rays. And the Yankees, that was a big series for the Yankees too. The Yankees were in last place coming into that series, albeit with a winning record. But in last place, still, just getting Judge back, still some question marks about the Yankees. And for them to win, to split that series with the Rays, especially after the devastating series they had the weekend prior, I thought that was important for the Yankees too. So the Yankees are 23-18. The Rays are 30-11. The Yankees are 7 games back. But the wonderful thing and the cool thing about it also is that there are now 5 teams over 500 in that AL East. So the AL East is proven again to be, if not the best division in baseball, one of the best divisions in baseball. So it's going to be interesting to see how that division plays out. There is expanded playoffs, but not every team is going to make the postseason, obviously, in that division. So who's going to get left out? I think there'll be some clarity. Obviously, the Rays are going to be the Rays, but I think the rest of them, man, I think they're going to just beat each other up. And I think there are only maybe 2. I think there'll be 5 teams playing for essentially 3 spots. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes out of it. But right now, I think if you're the Rays, I think you're feeling good. And I think if you're the Yankees, while you wish you were in a better spot, I think you got to feel good after this weekend because, again, your season was a little bit on the ropes and you were able to at least take the best punch from the Rays and come out at the very least, with a series split. So, but that's it for me, man. As always, man, thank you for supporting everything we do here at Dead End Sports, man. If you want to follow us, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and also check out all the podcasts that we got on the Dead End Podcast Network, man. We got everything. So, as always, I'm Manny Brown. This is your MLB recap. I'm out of here. Peace.